Okay, we've got Mars on the move. Where's Mars going?
Mars, the planet of ego-oriented projection, is an important planet because it stays in a sign for 6 weeks. We're just finishing up 6 weeks of Mars in Leo, and whenever it shifts, it's the first time in 22 months, you're going to examine the area that that energy is in and decide whether or not you need to make changes in it, and if so, what they need to be. And so for Virgos, it's about them. They've made changes in their physical being. They are now about to really be starting to project their wants and needs out into the world. Instead of just saying, oh, I'd like this to happen, they are going to start to take definitive actions to make things happen for them. Stuff that they've been working on for 22 months or so finally gets to get off dead center and be moved forward. So, and make no mistake about it, this is about gratifying the Virgo. Not anybody else. This is about making the Virgo look good. For Libras, this is a very difficult energy for them for the next 6 weeks or so. They have to be careful with their health. They have to be careful not to burn the candles at both ends. They have to be careful not to shoot themselves in the own foot. Libras can be very, very indecisive because they want to make the right decision, and rather than make the wrong one, they won't make any one at all. And sometimes the act of not choosing is a choice as well. And so they're going to have to examine it and to see where they can best put their energy. For Scorpio, it's in the 11th house of hopes, wishes, goals, and objectives. It's a great time to rally the troops around, rally your friends and your groups and associates to help the Scorpio get what it is the Scorpio wants. For Sagittarians, it's in their 10th house of career and public standing. And they have really got to be careful not to irritate the powers that be. You know, your ego can just go so far, and when you run into what the boss wants, it's a good idea to give the boss what it is that they say that they want instead of what you think they should have. And so Sagittarians are going to have a care with that, or they can find themselves in trouble professionally. For Capricorns, this Mars is in their 9th house of important matters, legal matters, educational matters, contracts, negotiations, anything that requires the Capricorn coming to some kind of terms with someone else will be clearly spelled out and much more likely to be in favor of the Capricorn rather than whoever it is they're dealing with. For Aquarians, it's about, oh my God, you're going to spend a boatload of money. Money is going to go out left and right, nickels and dimes, every time you turn around, whatever it is, it's going to end up costing you a ton of money. And this is not something that you can get around or get off cheap with. So you want to fix it right the first time. For Pisces, Mars is going to be opposing their sign for 6 weeks, which means everybody points a finger at you and yells at you. And it's sort of, it's awful. Every 22 months or so, you have to defend yourself on all sides and just make sure it's a defensible position. Otherwise, acquiesce and say you're right or wrong, because then people can't yell at you anymore. For Aries, it's in their 6th house of work and responsibilities. Aries are approaching a 6-week period of nothing but hard work. But if they do the hard work now, because they've really been kind of just not doing so much over the summer, but it's time for them to get back to work. If they do the work now, it will pay off for them over the next 2 years or so, but they need to put the effort in now. For Tauruses, it is about finding a way to unleash your creativity. It's a great time. They feel better than they have any time in the last 3 or 4 months. Their energies levels return, and they find that they can pursue their interests again. So that tells me something has to change for them, where they can put their wants and needs at the front of the list instead of at the bottom of the list under the dogs. For Gemini, it's in their 4th house of home. And these guys are going to want to knock down walls. They're going to paint, remodel, refurbish, blow up stuff. They want to make dramatic changes in their home and their environment. And all I have to say is make sure you know where the load-bearing walls are before you start knocking stuff down.
Gotcha.
For Cancers, it's in the 3rd house of day-to-day living. And that means the pace of their life is going to pick up, where they're going to have a lot more short-distance, short-duration travel. I don't know whether they're taking some sort of additional education or classes, but they're going to find that their time constraints are narrow, and there'll be no lollygagging around. They're going to have to make sure that they literally hit it and get it. And then for Leos, the last sign, they also are fixing to spend a boatload of money. And I think sometimes it takes money to make money. And I'm not sure what, I don't think this is from things that are breaking down. This is more trying to make good investments and taking your money and make it work for you kind of a thing.
Okay.
And if something does break, fix it right the first time. Don't go cheap on it, because you'll end up spending way more than that, and then hope for the middle of October when it changes for you. So that's tomorrow's news today for the 12 signs of the zodiac, with Mars going into Virgo.
We'll see you next week.
Always a pleasure.